Joining us now for a look back at the campaign is Palak Mangat from Parliament today. Palak, good to talk to you again on this Monday morning here. Here we are, day 37. It's been a 37-day campaign. How would you sort of compare the closing messages from the main party leaders from the opening messages, way back a month or so ago?
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly been strategic over the last week or so. We've had the two parties, the Bloc and the NDP, really pitch themselves as best positioned, again, you could say, to be a power broker if it does end up being a minority parliament, either led by the Conservatives or the Liberals. And funnily enough, I was reading today that's actually a likelihood or a possibility that the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, has also predicted.
Mm-hmm. Palak, what are you going to be looking for this evening as the votes start to come in? We know polls don't close till 9:30, but we understand, from Nick Nanos' polling and others, that this appears to be a fairly close race. There are different regions of the country where it may be a little less tight. But what are you particularly going to be watching for?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it will be the messaging, the speeches that obviously follow after. The speeches won't be there for a while because, like I think Bill mentioned earlier, polls don't close till about 9 or 9:30. So I think the messaging after the results start to trickle in is going to be interesting, and especially if there is any tweak in that messaging. Like I said earlier, the messaging has been more strategic over the 37 days. So how that is going to change, what the mood, what the tenor of maybe those messages are going to be, both within the campaigns themselves, to their supporters, to the rallies, versus to the public and to the media. That's something to keep your eye on.
And Palak, this is kind of a wide open question, but what has stood out to you the most over the last 37 days? You can choose anything, obviously.
That's a good question. I think it would be maybe the pace at which things have developed. The tragedy in Vancouver yesterday obviously overshadowed a lot of the campaign. Mr. Carney is obviously returning to Ottawa. I would say, that and really the Trump factor, which I think a lot of people knew going in, just the pace at which a lot of the developments around President Trump have happened, and the government or opposition parties have reacted. So I think they're just the nature of the world that we live in. So I guess that's kind of the things that have stuck out to me.
Oh, well, it's interesting, Palak, isn't it? Because, of course, the provincial campaign really appeared to be, Doug Ford, who ultimately came out winning, basically running against, as it were, it seemed, Donald Trump rather than Bonnie Crombie or Mart Stiles. And in this federal campaign, it looks like Mark Carney, the Liberal leader, he's kind of taken a run almost against Donald Trump versus Pierre Poilievre, trying to talk more about the issues of affordability, crime, and that sort of a thing. The edge, though, according to polls, Canadians seem kind of divided on whether it's Trump tops or whether it's cost of living and affordability, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that was an open question even going in. So, 37 days is a relatively short campaign. So what the ballot box question is, I think, is like you said, just a bit of an open question still. We'll never know if we had more time, whether or not we would have more certainty on the ballot box question. So I guess that's, and ballot box questions can vary for individual voters as well.
Yeah, and then, of course, turnout, I suppose, is going to be one of the bigger issues today as well. I mean, we saw massive numbers of advance voters. In terms of the overall turnout tonight, what have you been hearing in and around Parliament today in terms of, do you think we could see beyond 75% voter turnout? Is that what sort of people are thinking?
I think fingers crossed. I think that's what everyone is hoping. For democracy's sake, you're right. There were about 7.3 million people that voted in advance polls. Keep in mind the advance polls were during a long weekend, and that is roughly around the time that some parties released their platform or didn't release their platform. Kind of came out after. Yeah. So fingers crossed in terms of turnout. But I can tell you personally, I've walked out onto the street here by the Hill, and there have been. I think last night I saw a truck that said, vote for change, kind of supportive of the Conservative Party, or at least a different party in government. So I think that there are signs that turnout could be high. Wait and see, I guess.
We'll find out. We'll find out when the votes are all counted. Palak Mangat, we really appreciate your time over these last few weeks from Parliament today. Thanks for covering this from Ottawa this morning. Appreciate this.
Thank you.
Thanks.